and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, where today we've got some news updates for y'all regarding the Toronto Blue Jays offseason plans. We could be going out and getting a bat very soon. That seems very likely according to Ross Atkins. We're going to get into all the details and more, potential trades coming up, etc., etc. I am your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, and this came straight from the horse's mouth, everybody. Yeah. Literally, Ross Atkins earlier today spoke to the media, came out and revealed a lot about our catching trade progress, or just Blue Jays trades in general.
Yeah.
About where our kind of direction is as far as this team's going. So a lot of answers to a lot of questions we know that you guys have had. Before we get into all of it, though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the Blue Jays offseason so far, what they need to do next. Let's not delay this anymore. Let's just go straight into the news. Ben Nicholson-Smith with the blue check mark. We all know and love him. You guys can see that. He comes out and says this is one tweet of three, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, there's three big ones.
So stay tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned. There are much more things to be said. But the first one here is bats now a focus for Blue Jays. GM Ross Atkins tells Toronto media Jays will likely shift to offensive improvement after adding Bassitt and Kiermaier last week. Ideally, a left-handed hitter, most likely an outfielder, could come via free agency. We're not limited financially or trade.
We knew that ending for sure. We've heard enough of that, Ross.
Yeah.
This whole offseason.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because we heard before the focus was to prevent runs.
Yes.
Right? Defense, pitching. We did it. Okay, I guess that's it now. Now we're going over to the offense. But here's the one thing, and we're going to get to a lot more detail. There aren't many more, especially left-handed hitters out there in the outfield that can improve our offense, according to Teoscar Hernandez. It'll still be decreasing.
Yes.
So, to me, that screams, are they going to be going hard heavy into Michael Conforto, the one left-hander outfielder out there that still could be added that would be a bit of an improvement?
I mean, I think that it's definitely a valid question now, and I think this whole offseason we've been trying to figure out, we've been trying to decipher what it is that Ross Atkins actually means by what he says, and then we kind of learn after the fact that he's pretty, straight to the point with it, you know? When he talked about run prevention, he actually said, we are going to get run prevention, and that's exactly what we did, right? It's he's been pretty honest about things, so I take this, pretty much as it comes off. We want a good left-handed hitter, we want them in the outfield, and we want them to be good. And that is where Michael Conforto comes in. And you know what? Screw it. Let's look at him right now. Let's look at him right now, dude. Michael Conforto, as we know, was a stud for the Mets for some time. He's 29 years old right now. Yeah. The problem is, the big problem is surgery. He gets surgery. He's out for a year. Nobody signs him last year. Now, we were actually connected to him. I remember the rumors going around about Blue Jays potentially being connected to him. Then the surgery news came out, and then it was like, okay, well, this makes sense why we didn't sign him, and nobody ended up signing him.
Right.
But now he's in this really strange position where it's the ceiling is, it could be high.
Bro,
be good.
We've seen him in years when he's with the Mets in 2019, the most recent, full year without COVID. Look at that. An 856 on OPS. That replaces Teoscar Hernandez immediately.
Yeah.
And now, you're talking about that shoulder. I think he's more looking like a 1 year type of prove it deal. He's not going to be, no one's going to commit long term for this guy.
Right.
I mean, look at Kiermaier, literally 1 year, because he was coming off of surgery too.
Yeah.
So you're not going to commit lots of years. So a 1 year deal for this guy, who I would be glad to give it a prove it deal. This guy kind of feels like that Bellinger.
Well, I was just going to make that connection, right? Where it's the ceilings are high. The ceilings are higher than anybody, but obviously the floor could be, I could see a reality where Michael Conforto comes, he's hurt, he's slow to start, and he just is bad. You know, it's just he's not up to game speed yet, and he almost needs a full season to even get back to where he was. Granted, the allure of having a guy come in and hit 30 home runs and make a play for 100 RBIs and completely replace Teoscar Hernandez, his production from the left side of the box.
Right.
That is really nice.
Right now, but let me ask you. So now we got a little bit. If we do get someone like Michael Conforto, who needs to play every day. He needs to play every day. We've already told Kevin Kiermaier, you are an everyday center fielder. You're not going to be benching George Springer, that's for sure. So does that mean that Michael Conforto, he'd have to start taking playing time away from a Lourdes Gurriel Jr. because you can't, we know about our DH jam spot down there with our catchers. So what do you do?
I think that honestly, if you were to go out and sign a Michael Conforto, then you do need to start entertaining some potential trade scenarios for Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Right.
Because Michael Conforto, but then the problem is you get Michael Conforto on a 1-year deal.
Exactly.
You know, because it's
Exactly.
like how do you navigate that situation?
It's like the whole thing when we started this whole offseason, we're like, okay, Lourdes and T.O. are both on 1-year deals.
Yeah.
Why replace them with two guys, yes, they're lefties,
Yeah.
that are also on 1-year deals?
Right.
Maybe in the future plans of Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro to offer one of these guys a longer term extension once they're here? Because they're lefties.
That is the question, right? And you kind of like you start to wonder, well, maybe does it make more sense then to sign a Michael Conforto, but maybe not on a 1-year deal, maybe on a 2-year deal where there's some sort of option involved? Like, does that make more sense? Is that more interesting?
Right, and I wonder if Michael Conforto and his camp would entertain that, you know, because they want to get paid a little bit more too.
Exactly, yeah. So there's honestly like a lot of questions in there about even if we do go out and target Michael Conforto, where does he play? Where does he fit into this lineup? Because he will cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
I was looking at the market value there on Spot Rack, and like they have him, now I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but like they have him at roughly $21 million for 1 year. That is a sizable chunk of money. That's like a Marcus Semien signing right there.
Right.
Now, granted, if he does put up like Marcus Semien did in his 1 year, like I'm obviously not going to complain. That was amazing.
No.
But it's, you know, definitely not a guarantee.
And I definitely would do this deal. This would be an instant, yes, let's do it. Like a 1 year, $20 million? A 1 year, $20 million? Yes, I would do it, 100%.
Right. Well, if we do go ahead and sign a Michael Conforto, that might open the door to get into some more trade conversations. And we actually got some interesting news about that as well. So that was the first tweet by Ben Nicholson Smith. Let's get to the second one right here.
Yes.
BNS, I like that name, BNS, asked for the possibility of trading a young catcher. GM Ross Atkins said market for catching is exceptionally strong. Means Jays will have option of deals if they so choose. Yet Atkins said the Blue Jays are 100% comfortable keeping all three and remaining in that position of strength. So that last comment right there, I think we've heard that time and time again.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it, and I like that he's saying it. And I even made a video literally a few days ago, man, talking about this and saying, like, well, maybe it actually does make more sense to go to not trade a catcher, to hold on to them. But I also said, if the deal is right, then maybe you might consider it some more, right? And if the market is exceptionally strong, maybe there is a right deal.
Yeah, I mean, if the market is exceptionally strong, that means a lot of people of interest, you know, counter to the idea of that, oh, we're the last ones. Everyone's getting their catchers. Everyone's signing catchers. Well, apparently there's still a lot of teams out there that want our catchers because at the end of the day, if you're dangling someone like a Kirk or a Moreno, a lot of control, young catchers that people don't have that can hit for average and hit for a bit of pop, people don't have that. So people want that on their teams. Now, this for me immediately feels like the front runner. I keep going back to the Diamondbacks with Varsho.
Right.
That because if we're willing to improve offensively, Varsho would be it'd be a downgrade from Teoscar Hernandez for sure, but it's better than what we have currently for left-handed hitters like Kevin Kiermaier. So they could do it via trade as well.
Yes.
Do you think that this is an ideal situation to be trading one of our catchers to the Arizona Diamondbacks, or send them across the league and bring over Varsho?
I mean, I'm definitely coming around to the Varsho thing. I think it all depends on exactly like what else is included in that package. Do we need to give up more? Do you need to give up more? Like, how are we evaluating these guys right now? Right? It's very tough to say.
It does feel like a weird fit for me personally. Sorry to cut you off, but it does feel like I am coming around to the idea, but it does feel, I don't know, just not like the offensive bat that we were expecting.
Right. No, exactly.
I mean?
You know, and I think that I'm still kind of married to the idea of like, oh, I really love Brian Reynolds. Now, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But like that for me is obviously a little bit more alluring because like 3 years, I know what I'm getting. I know it's going to be elite, right? Whereas Varsho, you know, he does have a lot of control and he could be phenomenal. It's still up in the air, though. Looking over at our catchers and just what they're worth, guys, I think we all already knew this. I didn't even put another team here. I just put Angels because they're the first one that comes up. But it's like, as you guys can see, Jansen, 24.9 trade value, and then Kirk and Moreno both chilling around that 50 mark. If you're going to trade one of them, I mean, I think that's when you start getting into the whole, like, Varsho or Reynolds conversation. Jansen, to me, I don't think he gets it done for one of those guys.
No, I agree. It's definitely going to be a Kirk or Moreno. I know that you're definitely leaning on Moreno, but like at the end of the day, it's like I am hearing what a lot of you are saying, and I don't want to ignore what you guys are saying because you guys make a lot of good points. Like Kirk, you know, is his athleticism going to continue into his later years?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that is an actual, you know, biological fact. Is that going to work? Right? Moreno, a bit more athletic, bit more durable, bit more flexible, right? Like he might be a longer term solution. So I hear that's why look, as long as we get the right players on the field, we just move the pieces around. I'm good with trading any one of these guys because either way, if we have the other two, whatever other two are left, they're still going to be one of the best catchers in baseball.
100%, dude. I think that the biggest takeaway that I have from what Ross Atkins said there was earlier this weekend, he came out and said, well, we were looking to trade for a starting pitcher for our catchers. We signed Bassitt, so we might not be interested in trading anymore. Well, now he's coming out and saying, we're looking to grow offensively. We're looking to do that via free agency or trade, and the market's exceptionally strong. So that does tell me that it's like the door was shut on Saturday. The door is now creeping open once again for an offensive player, I think, anyways.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're getting it right here with this other tweet right over here. But that was the second piece of news, guys. The third piece of news right here is involving, speaking of the devil, our rotation.
Yeah.
Our rotation. Blue Jays are open-minded on further pitching adds per Ross Atkins. We'll continue to think about ways to improve the rotation, Atkins says. Plus, Jays are open to high-impact bullpen adds, but focus shifting to bats, augmenting lineup. We know about that, yes. But the idea of potentially adding another rotation arm, we talked about this last week. That was a conversation with Cueto, and I believe there was some speculation of trading for Carlos Carrasco. What do you make of this comment right here? I know you were saying to me before, like, do you feel like it's more of like a I'm just covering my bases kind of situation?
So the reason that I think that the other two, like I take a little bit more away from the other two than this one, is like literally the following tweet that we have here from Rob Longley, I think it is, right? Like he's the one that comes out and says, yeah, Ross Atkins literally also. So the thing is, Ross Atkins says we're looking to maybe improve our pitching, but then he also comes back and he says, like in the same interview, that we're excited about a bounce back with Kikuchi, we're excited about Mitch White, and we're excited about having prospects. So with the other two things, I'm getting a very clear message of we're open to trading one of our catchers in an extremely strong market for a left-handed bat. That's very clear. This seems to me like it's Ross Atkins covering his butt a little bit and just making sure that it's like he says everything. So anything is possible, I think, is basically what they're saying. Like we could walk in with Kikuchi and Mitch White, or if we get a good enough deal, like then we're gonna go that route.
I just think it's funny that he says we're excited. And again, he's a general manager. He's not going to say, no, I hate having you say Kikuchi, but we're excited about a bounce back with Kikuchi. Are you excited about a bounce back?
If it's a bounce back, then sure, I'm excited. I'm just not guaranteed that there's actually going to be one.
You know what I think's going to happen? I don't think we're going to get another starting pitcher because, look, you did make the move for Mitch White. You have to justify, like, making a trade for Mitch White last year and the signing of Kikuchi. You got to justify that signing as well. So you have to give them the opportunity to pitch in the rotation. Maybe you have another one of them as a sixth man. But then you're also leaving it open so if the trade can't be done, because a lot of these trade situations involved Ricky Tiedemann. If you don't get a trade done, you could maybe, I see again, a Manoah situation. Ricky Tiedemann comes up in May, in June. These guys are struggling. There's an injury. You don't want to have Kikuchi and Mitch White in the rotation. Maybe you try out a Ricky Tiedemann. I think that's more realistic going to happen in 2023 than people think. I made a tweet about it. Someone's commented saying, yeah, but he's 19. Okay, well, so?
Yeah. When did Vladdy come up, right?
Yeah, exactly. If he can play baseball, Major League Baseball competitively, you can be on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, age is just a number, everybody. It really does come down to talent. So I would not be surprised to see Ricky Tiedemann. I also think that he could have been referring to in his other, like, little quotation that he said there, maybe at bullpen guys, right? There's still a lot of bullpen guys. We still talked about that, saying it's like, we like where bullpen's at right now, but could it get better? I think that we could definitely be in that conversation. You know, it's like literally a high-impact bullpen arm right there. So I think that he could be referring to that. But that's all of the breaking news we have from Ross Atkins today, guys. The catching trade, it feels like the door is open once again, and we could be looking for that left-handed bat and maybe looking to add a high leverage bullpen arm But guys, comment down below your thoughts about all this. Please let us know who we should trade for, all that stuff. We're going to stay live with you guys right now, looking at all the remaining free agents that the Blue Jays could be going after and all other Blue Jays news. But for those of you rewatching, drop a like, drop a subscribe,
Yeah.
and
Go Jays, go!